Time now for our Sunday specials. For years now, Nigeria has joined global efforts to tackle climate change with the focus on the fight against desertification. But despite these efforts, the Sahara Desert continues to spread, swallowing more land each year. Well, in this special report, senior reporter Larry Adeyemi examines the connection between desertification, poverty, and the search for alternative energy.
In northern Nigeria, families face a stark choice: cook today or conserve the forest that protects tomorrow. As cooking gas prices soar and poverty deepens, more households turn to firewood and charcoal, undercutting Nigeria's fight against desertification and climate change. While the Great Green Wall promises hope, the axe is often louder and quicker than the hoe. For most low-income households, firewood isn't a preference, it is the only option. A 2025 National Energy Survey shows that 68% of households use firewood and 22% use charcoal for domestic and other purposes. Only 19% use LPG, a reminder that clean energy alternatives remain out of reach for many.
Charcoal now, a bag is about 8,000. But before we used to buy 2,500, 3,000 last year. Around this time I was having about 10 bags. But just because of the cost, this is too high. I couldn't keep even one bag. So I used to buy 500 inside that leather bag.
The past 14 years have been difficult for Mama Natu. Originally from Goza in Borno State, she lost her husband, 3 brothers and a son when Boko Haram attacked her town. She fled to Gombe, where she has managed to pick up what is left and find a semblance of normalcy. Cooking with charcoal is difficult. Inhaling the thick smoke at old age negatively impacts her already frail health while caring for her 4 grandchildren. But there is no choice to be made here. These children need to eat. All the talk about protecting the environment goes out the window when she sees her hungry granddaughter.
It's not easy for the masses. We are suffering too much. We cannot find gas. It's only if my children come, they will fill the cylinder for me. But if they go, if it finish, I go back to my charcoal. I used to manage it like that. My own now is better. I am grateful. If you see this, my neighbor around this place, if you see how they are picking the grass around this bola to cook food, it's very pity. Sometimes there will be no kobo, single kobo, no, nothing there.
Yet, charcoal is easier than firewood, especially during the rainy season.
Firewood, even before you light it, it will take time before it will catch the firewood. Apart from that, the smoke will have, especially if old people like me, even the eye might don't go. That smoke will affect my eye. Sometimes it will make me to cough. So I find firewood very difficult, even though it's conditioned that even the charcoal is too cost this time around.
If the government can subsidize all these prices of the kerosene and the gas, we would love to be using it, because now using the firewood itself it's not even healthy for us, because there is smoke everywhere, especially during this rainy season. As you can see, I'm just busy firing this firewood, but the thing is not working. So if the government can just come in and just find another means of cooking, so that we can be able to use kerosene or gas in order to cook for the family. But the way they are trying to stop this cutting of firewood, it's not going to be an easy task for we, the family people.
Cooking gas prices have increased over the years. Filling a 12.5 kg cylinder averaged 4,600 naira in 2016, but now costs 18,500 naira in 2025. For families living hand to mouth, that is far too expensive. Poverty makes the challenge even worse. The World Bank estimates that Nigeria's multi-dimensional poverty baseline shows 63% of people are poor. When income falls, households fall back on the forest. I journeyed to get a first-hand experience of tree cutting and firewood gathering. It was a difficult, back-breaking experience. We left Gombe this morning around 8 a.m. towards Bojude. Now another 1 hour trip towards Duku. Honestly, right now I don't know where we are, but I'm exhausted. And these brave men say that they are just about to start to cut down trees and to gather firewood. Apparently, gathering firewood is not for the faint-hearted. After the tedious journey, I was disappointed. I was not exactly sure what to expect, but not this. The site for gathering today shows evidence of a once blossoming savanna with trees, shrubs, and grasses. Now, it looks more like a wasteland with a few shrubs surviving the onslaught of human activities. Kamisi Inusa has been in this business for more than 5 years. He and his comrades have to travel further into the forest to gather firewood as the environment gets more degraded.
My job is firewood gathering. I am doing this job in order to fend for myself and my family. I used to come here 4 to 5 times a week. I make 4,000 to 6,000 naira every day that I work. I have 1 daughter and 1 wife, and this firewood gathering is my only job.
It is a battle for survival, a quest to earn a living, feed their families, and brave the challenges. Firewood business is not for the faint-hearted. Threat from wildlife, herders, conflict with farmers, extortion by government officials and security agencies, these firewood gatherers have lots of stories to tell.
We used to cut this firewood closer to the villages around here, but now we have to travel far, sometimes 20 to 30 kilometers, before we can get firewood to cut. I have been cutting firewood for more than 15 years. I have worked at different places like Maru, Gadunji, and Wawazange. We used to work freely without being harassed. We used to work up till 1 a.m. in the night without fear, but now 5 o'clock in the evening we can't be here. I was once held hostage and had to pay ransom before I was released, and all the government officials know us. At checking points, they demand money from us. There is a different amount for dry firewood and wet firewood, so I think everyone, including officials, are aware of our activities.
Heading back to Gombe, I stopped to talk to Mahmouda, a famous charcoal maker. Mohamed Mahmouda started cutting this tree just a few days ago, chopping it into smaller chunks and then putting it with its leaf under this heap of sand to make charcoal. Gombe State government has a policy of planting 1 million trees every year, but it seems as if as it's planting the trees, thinking about conservation and combating desertification, residents who are fighting for survival are cutting them down to make firewood and charcoal. At least it did not uproot the tree as many do, yet it does not make it straight void of environmental impact.
I have been into charcoal business for a while now, and this is the business I use to care for myself and feed my family. This heap of sand behind me is called bunga. After cutting down a tree like this, or any other tree can be used for charcoal, but preferably a mahogany or tamarind trees make the best charcoal.
The costs to the environment are immediate. Satellite data indicates Nigeria lost 253,000 hectares of natural forest in 2024 alone, releasing an estimated 114 million tons of CO2 equivalents, and that is just 1 year. Every tree felled for fuel means weaker soil, dustier winds, failed crops, and more pressure to cut the next tree. It is a vicious cycle.
As an alternative source of cook energy, because that's the reason why people are cutting down trees. So we propose the use of biofuels, and that's why we are now making an arrangement that we can see how we incorporate our communities to start planting the Jatropha species. Jatropha is a special species of a tree that you can be able to use in the manufacture of biofuels, because it has a very huge amount or quantity of fuels inside that particular tree. So by using Jatropha, we can be able to provide the biofuels in a very large and commercial quantity, whereby the communities will use it as an alternative source for cooking energy and even for transportation.
Researchers warn desertification is racing south at 600 meters per year, degrading roughly 350,000 hectares of cropland and rangeland annually. There is a counterattack. The Great Green Wall, Africa's flagship restoration plan, aims by 2030 to restore 100 million hectares, sequester 250 million tons of carbon, and create 10 million green jobs. As trees are planted, more seems to be cut down.
AgriZEL as a project has insisted and created awareness to the level that if you must remove a tree, you should plant between 2 and 3. And the system of uprooting trees should be discouraged, and this is achieving a lot of mileage. And what are we doing? We're massively investing in replanting and recovery of the degraded landscapes and, like you rightly said, the belt of the Sahara. And this is done with collaborative efforts of the Great Green Wall.
That contrast is stark even within communities. 49.6% of fuel wood cut or collected comes straight from natural forest, according to Nigeria's 2024 Energy Survey. Precisely the landscape the Great Green Wall seeks to protect. States have tried bans and control on charcoal production and logging, yet enforcement is uneven, ineffective, as charcoal and firewood trading continues as livelihoods depend on it. Experts advocate practical solutions, such as scaling up access to cooking gas and price stability, back locally made, efficient stoves, promote agro-residue fuel, and engage communities to protect and restore forests so that survival and sustainability are no longer at odds. There are 150,000 seedlings of date palm in this nursery, with under 300,000 expected from the Great Green Wall project.
It is crucial that the cost of clean cooking significantly reduces so that every member of society can afford it, so that we don't end up protecting the environment with one hand while destroying it with the other. Landry Adiemi, TVC News.